right, we're good. I'm recording live. I'm recording
live on. Oh god.
Live on TikTok. Del, what are you drinking? Me and James. Well, you can't see what James has, but he had like a weird Montana beer. Did you like the one that he sent you?
I did. It was very good. My brother and I both drank it. So.
I wonder if that snippet about the Texas thing that I made fun of your wall is going to be cool or not. Can you move your head, Della? Everybody wants to see how embarrassing you are.
Everyone wants to see the
James, this isn't cool, right?
Winning
It's
debate.
Like
I mean, objectively not cool, but maybe to some people. I would hang a debate thing on my wall.
It's not about the debate thing. It's the fact
that's the shape of Texas. Yeah,
that's like a little plaque in the shape of Texas. He doesn't have anything on his wall except for this little plaque in the middle.
Well, because all the stuff is on this side. All of my trophies, everything from my childhood is all here. I'm staring at it.
So what do you have on top of the Texas thing?
Oh, that thing is that is for my
biggest loser.
No. So like when you do debate, you join what was then called the NFL, which is like the National Forensic League, and they give you.
No, that's not what the NFL stands for, dude.
I know.
Somebody's gonna tell you. That's embarrassing.
They actually changed their name like 4 years ago because of the whole conflicting thing. But that
were
being
people
said,
confused?
No one was. But that being said, you get a there's like stickers on this thing, and you get a sticker for the level of amount of points you got over your career, right? So when I left high school, I was the most decorated debater in the history of my high school, right? So like that's how many stickers you have on that.
How many people debated in your high school?
A lot. We had the best debate program in our district. Like, and then the guy after me the next year was the first person to beat. He got more points than I did.
Sounds so like you are the biggest loser in history.
I'm the biggest loser. But now he is the most, because no one has beaten his record. Like he was better than me. His senior year. But,
did you talk to him about it?
Yeah, he and I are best friends. Like we talk about.
Did you have like a rivalry?
No, we never had a rivalry.
Did you spit on him ever?
No.
What did you debate, Della? Give us a little snippet of this great debate performance that you have. Let me do it.
Oh, I still actually. It's funny.
Della.
No, I actually still have my my debate
James,
speeches.
you take one side of the debate, and you got to debate on why Della's stickers and Texas thing are stupid.
No,
and
look,
Della has to prove they're not. Here we go.
No, hold on. I still have.
James, go ahead. Get blasted first.
Well,
Della, you're not allowed to talk during the debate.
Oh, hold on.
No, it doesn't matter about the stickers. They're embarrassing. They're on his plaque.
No, listen. I still have my speeches from like from high school. Like I kept them all on this binder.
Yeah, you should burn those.
No,
hey, wait,
because they're good.
What are they blabbling about? Why
So,
you can't eat gum in class? I had to debate that once.
How student congress works is like when you go to student congress, you every school who's participating in the debate tournament submits a bill that they'd like to debate about. Okay, so you have 40 schools. There's 40 bills, and then
where are these bills?
Like I'm trying to get to this point. So
sounds like a snore alert.
Let him finish.
No, so for
hey, wait, James, play the snore button.
All right, so here's an example. So one of them, this was back in 2004, 2005. Okay, so like one of them was like.
I wish I had buttons and sounds. Go on.
This bill was about the banning of it was a bill to eliminate the ban on file sharing, right? Remember, that was a huge deal back in 04.
Never heard of it. Don't care.
So I'll just I'll read the first paragraph of one of my speeches. It said, for the past 5 years, since sites like Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, and BearShare have increased their sharing capacities, millions of songwriters and artists are losing the revenue promised to them. For example, when you steal files, you do three things. You take the revenue that could go to the artist away.
Yeah, didn't you steal the files? But didn't you get in trouble for stealing files?
For what you're doing, and last, you're violating copyright laws. All right, that's the intro paragraph to the speech that I wrote.
So you're on the side of
lame. Stealing music is the best. You should be stealing.
I agree, but you know what? But you guys have to understand.
Yeah, let's blast him, James. We're on the other side, Della.
Yeah,
steal music, and you're a fool.
In debate, your job is to debate. It's to be able to debate either side. So
I actually have a funny story about stealing music, which is Crescencio.
Yeah, let's hear it, because Della's boring me to death with these debate stories.
So Crescencio is going around San Jose doing his whole thing.
Who's Crescencio?
Oh, you don't. I have to explain who Crescencio is to this audience. I guess I do.
Just give him a little give him a little tidbit.
Crescencio's my nurse friend from the hospital I work at.
He looks like a little nugget.
Yeah. He's a pretty short guy.
Like a meatball.
Yep. And he's Mexican, but he's not sure if he's Mexican or he's Samoan. He doesn't know what he is about anything.
He's alpha. He's an alpha.
Weird.
He is an alpha. But that's 100%
You know what that means, Della?
I know what that means.
But anyway, so he's
Good,
walking
'cause I
around
don't.
San Jose, and he's buying CDs off like people who are hawking them on like the corner and whatever. And this guy sold him like a $20 CD that was just a blank burned CD. It didn't have any songs on it.
Ooh.
Isn't that funny?
Why
I
did he
hate
buy
to
it?
see it.
Why did he buy it? He didn't
Why is
know.
he buying a CD?
Somebody made a cover.
I mean, no one just walks around testing.
Yeah,
No, but
what are you
I
gonna
don't
do?
get
Are you
it.
gonna walk
He
around
bought
with
it.
a Walkman?
What age?
No, this was
What
like
age?
this was like 3 months ago.
In this millennium?
Yes.
That is the dumbest story I ever heard in my life. That has nothing to do with the other story. And also, it's so stupid. He bought a CD off someone on the street and it had nothing on it.
It had
But
nothing
in
on
today's
it.
age,
It had nothing on it.
Wow.
it's like those
It had
things
like
they sell
it had
in
like a
Venice, Della,
jewel
where the guys
case
try
and
to
like
like
a
pawn.
cover and everything, but no music.
What was
no
it?
music.
What was
No,
it
it's supposed to be like some like like underground rap like album or something like that.
Oh, so he bought it on like the boardwalk like a dumbass?
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
What a
Your friend-
hilarious clown. Is
Your
he all
friend
right?
seems pretty stupid.
Yeah, he's fine.
Does
He's
he
stupid.
wanna, would he like to buy some oceanfront property in Montana? I know a guy.
On the Canadian border.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I got some ocean property in the Canadian border.
this was the same kid that we had to convince that DC was not in the state of Washington, and he
Oh
like
my
really
God.
was upset about it. And then we had to like prove it to him by like Google Mapsing it. It took a while.
Wow, this guy sounds pretty dumb.
I mean, he's an alpha. It's tough.
I mean, I'm an alpha, but I'm not stupid.
Yeah. No, but he's like a real alpha, Della. A real alpha. You're a beta. Let's be honest.
I'm a fake.
Like inside, you're a beta. You might facade an alpha, but he's an alpha in and out.
Alpha,
Right,
yeah,
James?
interesting.
Yeah, he's an alpha.
Isn't he's a 5'2" alpha? I love to hear it.
Yeah, it's all for him. It's all about the confidence rather than the size.
Interesting.
Yeah, he just what is it like? His aura. What's the word?
Exudes.
Yeah, exudes. Thanks. He exudes alpha. Like you'll see him and you'll be like, oh, look at this alpha. He'll like howl at the moon.
He's super funny. He's one of the
Right,
funniest
James?
guys I've ever met.
Oh, he's one of the funniest. I mean, he's the most delusioned guy I've ever met. I'll say that. Top 2
Interesting.
most delusioned humans I've
But then
ever
again,
met.
I don't know.
That includes
I don't
you.
know. I think he's just funny. Like maybe he's just funny. Maybe he's delusional. Maybe he's pretending to be delusional. I don't know. I don't know what's going
James,
on.
we tried to tell him that DC wasn't in Washington, and he wouldn't believe it. That's absurd. Because saying like, okay, I get it. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe Washington D.C. is in Washington. But then when somebody tells you it's not, and you're like, no, it is. You
It
guys
is.
are fucking with me. And we go like, no, we're not. What do you need to believe this? And he goes like, I need to like, even if you show it to me on the map,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't believe it.
Wow.
That's not fucking around. At some point, you go like, I get it. It's not there. It's not
What state is he from?
Montana.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, to James now, everybody from Montana is kind of the same base of like, intelligence level, but this guy's the ultimate doofus. Even for Montana levels, I would say he's a little off. He's missing some stuff. He's
Yeah,
missing some
he sounds like he's
screws.
missing some screws. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's missing a lot of
He's
screws.
just fucking. He's so funny. He's so funny. It's really funny.
James is
He made
losing
up-
it.
he made up a
This is what happens
story.
to you when you go to Montana for too long, Della.
Right. You start doing the Mexican meth, not the Montana meth.
Yeah. that was so funny,
Oh
James.
God!
The
All
guy
right,
with
yeah.
that comment.
That's something that
He's
happened.
upset about the
this
border.
week.
Yeah, there wasn't that much. Me and Della, James and I were talking before you got on about how nothing really happened this week because, they just finished that like COVID, the American Rescue Plan, and now we're just kind of like waiting for them to like move into infrastructure and HR1, but like, they're not changing the filibuster. I think everyone's in a state where we're just like waiting on this vaccine to like go full out and like everybody to get vaccinated. And then the kids to get vaccinated, then we get herd immunity, then we move on with our lives. Then we all forget about politics again.
Exactly. We can go back to life again.
Yeah, but I still want him to do that fucking HR1 because that shit is bullshit and Georgia's wackadoo. Georgia, that fucking state, Della. I feel like whatever you thought you did there was bullshit. It lasted for one election cycle.
Didn't I tell you back in January that this is a red state? I keep telling you this, bro.
I know it's a red. It's not. It's a red state because they force it to be a red state. It's not naturally a red state anymore. It's definitely a purple state, if not a blue state. But in terms of all the fucking, voting fucking bullshit, voter suppression there is wild. And they got so scared that they lost. They're like, we can never let that happen again. Like, no more. You're not getting a bottle of fucking water on that line, and you can wait there for 6 hours and dehydrate and pass out. But I'd rather that than you ever think you're gonna vote again for another fucking Democrat in this state. Let's be real. They are fucking livid. There's livid that they lost. They've never been angrier. I mean, because if you're like, hey, you know what? We'll open up access to more. It's like it's so obvious voter suppression, and I'll tell you why. Because you got more people to vote, right, in the runoff election and in the general election. You got more people to vote. So whatever you did, you got more people in your state to vote, right? Now, if you're saying that more people voting, that the counter to that is, well, there was a lot of fraud, right? We needed fraud in order to say that the more people voting was bad, because generally more people voting is good. I feel like the goal of American democracy would get as many eligible people that can vote to vote. You need to get people to vote. But if you're saying that you are going to take measures that is definitely going to disenfranchise certain people to vote, then it's in the name of election integrity. So then you have to tell me that there's a lot of actual fraud. And then they found no evidence of fraud. Still to this day, there's no actual evidence of voter fraud. There's a case here with a guy that got mixed up at the poll and signed up for the wrong, election center. But like in reality, there's no real actual evidence of voter fraud enough to actually influence anything rather than your standard stuff, especially from mail-in balloting. So it just makes it so absurd. If there's no actual voter fraud, then there's no reason to make laws to disenfranchise more people from voting because you're not protecting against anything because it doesn't exist. So I just don't know what you call it then. Like, what is it? If it's not voter suppression, what is it?
It is voter suppression. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What's the Republican Party call it? Because they're delusional. So why even ask?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm fighting for against voter fraud, right? But again, like if there's no real voter fraud, then you're fighting against nothing. It's just like so absurd. I don't even understand the premise. But they passed it through like it was nothing. And now what? Major League Baseball's not gonna have the fucking All-Star game there? Who gives a flying fuck? And the Delta CEO is gonna wah. Where were you before they passed the fucking law? They already passed it. It's already been passed.
There's nothing they can do. So I mean, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Major League Baseball took long enough. Yeah. Where were you when they were fucking deciding to pass this law?
Well, of course,
I didn't see you protesting.
They were quiet, as they always.
Oh yeah, Delta CEO. Well, now I'm upset about it. Are you gonna take away my tax break? Shut the fuck up. No, it's absurd. They don't care about it, but until it happens. Like, right. You had a fucking Republican state legislator that was going crazy. You have lunatic Kemp, who's a nightmare. This is like their dream. You know what I mean? This is their dream, is to be like, oh, I can't wait to pass these things because, like, I know who it's going to affect, and it's not going to be the people that vote for me.
I mean, it's this typical GOP. I'm not surprised.
It's so typical, but what's more ridiculous is these absurd reactions that are late. Fucking Major League Baseball. Oh, whoopty fucking. Do you think they're going to reverse the law now that you pulled out of the fucking All-Star game? Are we kidding ourselves? Do we really think this is a thing? Oh, if I don't buy Coca-Cola, they're not going to pay as much taxes in the state of Georgia? Shut the fuck up.
No, that's true. That's true. It's just, it was pretty funny to me. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised that Major League Baseball did what they did. What I was laughing at, though, was to your point about the fact that they knew this bill was being created,
Right.
and it's not like people just create 100-page bills overnight. Like that's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something they had in place or in mind for like 4 months, and now they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna pass this, and no one said anything. It's like, okay,
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. All the laws all the bullshit voter integrity laws that they
Yeah.
passed are stupid because there wasn't a problem that existed that you're fixing.
Right.
So you're just passing a bunch of fucking stupid laws that are obviously going to affect. Okay, no mail-in ballots. Let's close the polls on certain days. Let's not no food or water while you're waiting online for 4 fucking hours. Who's that going to affect? The people that have super long lines in predominantly black neighborhoods, or is that going to affect the wealthy white neighborhoods that seem to have 5 polling locations in like a 2-mile radius? Like, stop. Who are we pretending these voter ID laws? Because you're saying that there's so much voter ID fraud, right? There's just so many people with fake IDs just being like, I can't wait to go in and just vote on behalf of somebody else. Like, this is like my dream. Like, stop. This stuff doesn't happen.
it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, and it's like, oh wow, well, voter ID laws. Well, let's see. It costs money and time, and you have to be near a place that actually verifies, that gives you IDs that you need to actually go and vote. So, who does that affect? Like, what communities are going to get affected by not having the added time to go and drive to one of these fucking things for an appointment, and the extra income to go and get one of these fucking IDs if they don't have one? If you don't have a driver's license, right? Like, now you have to go and get one of these fucking IDs. And if you don't, then like, oh, you can't vote. And it's like, but I live here and I pay fucking taxes here. So fuck you, fuck you. Or why don't you make it super easy for me to get one of these fucking IDs? And sure, I'll get my Georgia like state ID, but you're not going to make it convenient because the closest one in my fucking area is, 50 miles away. And I'm going to have to drive there someday on my fucking work hours. I'll have to take off work to get your fucking ID. For fraud that doesn't exist. So, like, the whole thing's fucking absurd. I know 11 million Americans don't have a fucking ID. Do you know that? Or government, verified.
That's a lot. I didn't know that.
Yeah, looked it up. 25% of African Americans, voting eligible African Americans, don't have an ID. And 8% of white people that are eligible to vote don't have an ID.
That's wild.
Huh. Yeah. It's fucking insane. And then you're like, oh, well, who would this law affect? And it's like, what do you mean? You know exactly who it's going to affect. It doesn't mean that person doesn't get the right to vote. It just means they don't have one of your fucking IDs. So either work with everybody to get them an ID and then sure, but you're not going to do that. You don't want them to have IDs because you don't want them to vote. If the law was everybody gets an ID and we make sure everyone gets an ID, then they can vote, I would say, fine, go for it. Do the full campaign, but you're not. You're not going to donate any money or any resources to make sure everyone gets an ID, even like a city ID. Like everybody in New York can get an ID. You can get a New York City ID. It's like easy. It's just like so absurd. I'm like, this is the most bullshit. MLB, we're not going to do the fucking game. Shut the hell up. Who the hell even watches baseball? You and my roommate are the only 2 people I know that watch baseball. Nobody sits there and watches stupid baseball games.
I was watching baseball today.
James, you watching baseball? James is dead.
I muted my mic. I would watch baseball, but like,
why would you mute your mic? What are you doing there? We want to hear your voice. You mute yourself. So you
were going on a diatribe. I'm like, all right. Like, I know what this is. I've been here before. I totally agree. What am I going to say? I don't have anything to.
You can say like, haha, agreed. All I can say is
agreed. All right, but
really
here's my thing about baseball. I would go to watch a game. It's got to be in the background. I don't know. Baseball is not the main thing that's going on. I want to go there. I want to drink beer.
Would you either put it on the TV though?
No, I wouldn't watch TV. I'd be on the radio or I'd be there in person. There's no TV.
The radio? What is going on with you two? Both of you living in a different era.
What is wrong with that?
Oh, actually, you didn't do anything weird, though. They were both James stories that were from a different era. One was buying CDs on the street, and then I don't even know why his friend would participate in that. And then the second one is James listening to things on the radio. James, do you own a radio?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? Why not own a radio? What's wrong with owning a radio?
Because your phone gets like radio stations.
In Montana, they have to watch for moose.
Yeah.
Oh, On the radio?
I don't know.
Sometimes they
assume
have
that's how I
weather
would listen to it.
reports on the radio, and you don't have
You need help,
cell
James.
phone service, and
Sounds like it. Sounds like a tough life.
I mean, they
It's
barely
fine.
have internet.
I know. James, when are you
Yeah.
coming back from Montana? This sounds like a nightmare. Are you like over it yet, or are you still doing this thing? Like this joke's getting old.
I'm
Della?
still doing it.
Joke getting old?
He's Montanaing. He's able to live very cheaply and live like a Montanan.
Yeah, but it's stupid. Living like a Montanan is stupid. That's like getting your like pure meth versus your 30% fucking coked up meth.
Nice.
Living like a Montanan means that I don't get good meth. I get like fake half baking soda, half meth. Now 70% baking soda, 30% meth. James, what kind of a weird line is that?
What, the radio?
Is that your proof of like that border crossings are out of control because the flow of drugs is more pure than your own crack meth that you're making? What's going on in Montana? Why would you even bring that up?
Steve Daines and Greg Gianforte are like nightmares. And it's bizarre that Montanans like even voted them in because neither of them are from Montana. And like Montanans are usually like, oh, well, you got to be fifth generation Montanan or something like that. But all of a sudden it's fine.
Montanans are so easily tricked and dumb that
or it's fine because now you have these two ding dongs and like what on earth are they doing? They're nightmares. They're the worst fucking people. Gianforte tackled a reporter. Steve Daines is a nightmare. Yep. Like both of them are awful people. Like there's no doubt about it. So
are you ready to get out of Montana, or you need this? You like enjoy this insanity? You like that the people in your state were like, I like this. I like want more of these two clowns as my like
where I live
representatives.
is more of a liberal place.
Oh yeah, real liberal, but
well, I mean, but if you go to Western Montana
James,
and Billings, and
you know what you need
Eastern
to do?
Montana
You need to
Billings.
start you need to start campaigning. You need to start getting out there and making a name for yourself. You can trick these people. They obviously have no idea what's going on. Like, it'd be harder for me and Dell to go out there and trick.
Stand up. I don't know. I don't think I would stand up under.
What do you mean? If you say anything on topic, they're like okay with it, or off topic. They seem to not know what's going on either. I don't even think people probably listen to any. They probably vote white Republican man. They probably have no idea what's going on.
So I just run as a rhino.
Yeah, just run as a rhino. There's plenty, and they're just like, and then be like, "Oh, I actually vote on." And then when they run fake campaign ads against you, one, you're either taking up money from somebody else, or two, you just be like, "Yeah, they're all lying to you. Like I'm a real Montanan, they're not." And then like that's it. It'll be funny. Like nobody needs to fight this fight. You can go talk to people. I don't know what
that would be pretty funny.
Or you go on the radio, James. Yeah, I'd help you run that campaign. Like, who cares?
All right, sure.
Nonsense.
If you help me run the campaign, sure, I'd do that. That'd be funny.
All right. We're in. We got a new task, Della. If we can get James elected in Montana, that would be the most wild thing ever. What do you think?
That would be absolutely insane.
We make James as like Montanan as humanly possible, right? We just like give him like steak hanging in the background and him just like eating it and like shooting like a cow and then eating steaks.
Well,
I don't know what they do there, right?
There was a whole thing. Did you hear that whole thing about how Colorado has a no meat day or whatever? And Greg Gianforte is like,
why? Yeah.
Just because it's like, oh well, meat's bad for the environment and all of that. Like that type of thing where it's like, hey, like let's
meat's good. Meat's good for my stomach.
Well, exactly. That's what Gianforte did. He was like, Colorado's full of pussies. Like we should all eat more meat. And I was like, whoa, but this is really, it's a weird flex. Like who, why do you care?
They should just get more money into like making the cells into meat. Like, don't they do that? Lab grown meat? I'm sure it's the same fucking bullshit. Just do that.
Yeah.
Why not just dump a bunch of money into making it in a lab and call it a day? Then we don't need to fucking kill the environment for fucking meat.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
That's a good point.
Maybe Joe Biden should put that in his next fucking bill, his stupid infrastructure bill that's got everything under the fucking moon in it.
I'm about to find a way to get $1 million to build my own bridge in my backyard.
Oh, I want to do that too. If you figure it out, send me a thing. I haven't gotten any stimmy money either, so I'm really desperate these days. Also, wait, tell me this isn't bullshit. Those stupid fucking student loan cancellation, I'm not getting any because I refinanced.
You're right.
Oh, wow, you suck.
How fucked up is that, James?
Why did you do that?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
The government. No, because the government. I was talking to Dell about this. I said the government. What do you mean when? Like years ago.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, when they were fucking me with those insane interest rates. So basically, I was so screwed. I had to take over the Parent Plus loans from my parents took out, plus my own shitty loans, and the rates were like 7 to 10% interest rates. What was I going to do? Sit and pay that forever? I'm like, yeah.
Why didn't you just refinance the
maybe
10% ones?
Because it was all together. I had to do it partial ones versus other ones. It was all chaos. I had to take in the full loan. Otherwise, I would have had different fucking loans with different rates. So I put it all under SoFi at like 6.5. And it ended up being like in order to take on my Parent Plus loans, I had to put in my loans combined. I couldn't just take their loans separately under my name. So it was wild. So I did SoFi, that fucking scam company with their fucking stadium in LA now, the SoFi Bank monstrosity.
You're thankful that you paid for the stadium, so thank you.
Oh, yeah, I paid for that fucking LA Rams stadium, James. So if you ever watch a fucking football game, you can say thank you to me for building their stadium on my interest rates. I don't think I paid principal for 5 years. I think I paid interest only.
Oh my God.
Interest only loan. Yeah, I paid like $1,000. It all went to interest. I looked at my loan balance at the end. It was like it was the same. The principal was the same. I was like, well, but I've been paying for like years, and they're like, yeah, that all went to interest, idiot. I was like, did it ever get to principal? And they're like, no, dude, it doesn't. And I was like, okay,
forever, bro.
I just pay forever. Oh, it's a 50-year loan. Oh, okay, good. Well, you pay 40 years of interest and 10 years of principal, James. That's how they get you. So I did it. So I fucking did the SoFi. I got rid of fucking SoFi. SoFi was still like 6 something. I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm getting a little bit lower. I finally did First Republic, gave me like 2.5, and I've been living that up for a while. This is free advertising for First Republic. All of our listeners are like, I gotta get that First Republic shit. Sure, First Republic, can you sponsor us a little bit? Give us some cash? You know, you just use some of my interest that I paid you for the fucking advertisement that I'm giving you right now. Anyway, First Republic for rich people, if you get it. If you have enough free cash, you can get a First Republic account. And basically they gave me 2.5, and yet but all of this was to get out of that fucking government nightmare that they put me in, and then he's gonna cancel 50, and you know who's not gonna get any, James? Me.
When are they actually gonna cancel 50?
This is fucking absurd.
Because like they're leaning towards it, but are they actually gonna do it?
I think they'll probably shove it in they'll shove it in one of the reconciliation bills. That's how you do things now, James. We don't actually legislate. We just shove shit through the reconciliation bill because for some reason the Senate is designed where it's no more majority doesn't have a say unless it's through reconciliation. Why? I don't know why that's a standard. I think people have to realize, including fucking Manchin and Sinema and all these other phony, baloney, fucking fake Democrat losers, they need to basically realize by putting shit through reconciliation, you put the American Rescue Plan through reconciliation. You didn't get one Republican to sign off on it in the House, in Congress, or in the Senate. You didn't get one Republican. So So then, what about the filibuster do you believe is right? Meaning, you allowed that to go through. So you believe that the filibuster is good because the way to get legislation done is through reconciliation, not through like voting on it like a normal body. Right? Like you need to pass through. So you're okay as long as it goes through reconciliation. Why? Why are you cool with the bill that you had no bipartisanship on as long as it goes through reconciliation? What kind of a threshold is that? It doesn't even make any sense. Why would you care?
Because they don't care.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so absurd. You're basically saying, no, we need the filibuster because we need bipartisanship on these bills. We need the minority to speak. Okay, well then why did you pass that reconciliation bill without one Republican vote? Because reconciliation doesn't count. Yeah, but it does. You're only using it because you can't pass things through the ordinary one. The logic is still the fucking same, you clowns. It's still the same fucking logic. You didn't get Republican to vote in either scenario. What's the fuck is the difference?
Yeah.
So you're telling Manchin he should still vote no on reconciliation?
No, yes. Pick an aisle. Either you don't believe in you don't want to pass any of the majority stuff that you want, the reconciliation, or by not ending the filibuster. Pick a fucking stand to be in the middle. It's the same thing with the people that are like, oh well, if you end the filibuster, then the Republicans will also have the ability to pass shit through. Okay, who gives a flying fuck? I'll live with that. I'm not going to sit here and say if the Republicans get control, then I'm just saying we got to get that filibuster back. No, the filibuster's fucking dumb. If you can pass stuff through in other scammy ways because you can't work in the normal fashion of how things are supposed to work, then it's dumb. So I think he should be one, well, either or. Either what's his logic in not ending the filibuster? Tell me, one of you, right now. What's the logic in not ending the filibuster?
I think we should just let the southern states secede. Just let them secede.
So your answer is secession.
Yeah, just let Texas and Florida and all those fucking wacky states.
Yeah, but then you're gonna throw the people like Della into the fucking.
Why? Well, they could be.
He's okay
Della, yeah, that's a.
Della, let's be honest. If the South secedes, are you going to get the 3/5 compromise back?
I bet they actually would put that back, and they would.
And then they would vote for it.
Yeah,
they'd be like, "Yeah, I guess like that." And then MLB will say, "We're not holding the All-Star game in the South."
Yeah, they would absolutely be okay with that. Trust me.
And they'd be like, "Oh, okay, so all black people will be 3/5 of a human being. Is that all the nays say?"
Bro, let me tell you something. If they could do that tomorrow, if it meant that they could have their own country, that bill's probably already on someone's drafts.
They're like, oh yeah, well, it's a lot of fraud amongst the African American community, so we got to prevent it by giving them 3/5 to make up for the fraud.
Yeah, us black people, we love to do that voting fraud.
There's so much fraud. If we just give them 3/5 of a vote, then it will counter the fraud going on.
Right.
Dan, they would have to pick a different fraction. They couldn't do 3/5 because it's too well known.
It would be like it would be the 2.5. It would be the 4/5. They'd be like,
4/5 is too much, bro.
I know that's too much. I was gonna say they can't.
Might do 4/7 just to make it.
Yeah, 4/7. The 4/7 compromise.
Make it a little. Make it sounds cool, but it's actually worse, and it's okay. They're like,
oh my god. Yeah, it'll be like, the 3/5 was a little egregious, but the 4/7 we can get behind. We can get behind it.
We can get behind it.
Oh god. I mean, other than secession, Della, give me the real rationale. Give me the real rationale of a Joe Manchin. I know it's absurd. It's all fake, but what's the rationale? Where is it? Where does the line come where you don't want to end the filibuster, but you will pass stuff with no Republican votes to a reconciliation?
I think the only thing Manchin's thinking about is that, like, if they pass it, if they get rid of the filibuster, what will happen is, like, people, when the Republicans get back in power, Democrats will never. It'll be over. That's what I think his mindset is, to be honest with you.
But I get that logic, but that's the same thing as like it's like saying we're not going to do anything if we ever lose power, but you can lose power either way. So just not doing stuff is the same thing. Also, passing shit through reconciliation. Like, if the Republicans were back in power, how far do you think they would push those stuff that they can pass through reconciliation? Right, as if it's like they could do all these things. If they get in power, if they don't, once they get in power, it's not like the filibuster is really preventing them from getting rid of the filibuster themselves. The only thing that can prevent Republicans from getting in power is actually doing the things that you said you were going to do, and then people voting for you again. That's it. So, let's just be honest. The Republicans can get in power. Right now, they look like they're getting in power because they're ready to go for 2022 because they're going to ride off the fact that you got the American Rescue Plan, which they're already saying is really just, Donald Trump got us out of COVID. You didn't do anything, right? We do remember a little bit. They didn't call them Biden checks, which still a big flop, right? But they did get a letter. You did get a letter with your stimmy. That was a good move. But I'm saying, realistically, You need this infrastructure bill to go through. You need HR1 to go through because you need the ability to counteract all these voter suppression laws. You're not going to win again. Like, you have Warnock and potentially like a Stacey Abrams running in Georgia. That's like the fucking wildest case of voter suppression alive. Do you think either of those two are going to win if they don't pass HR1? Stop.
No.
Zero. You're going to say goodbye to Warnock. That was a good, what was that, like 2 years? Not even. By the time he got in and started doing stuff. That was like what, like a year and a half of service? Thank you. You were just a pawn in the game of nonsense. Like, what was that?
I mean,
it's funny that Ossoff, the less liked candidate, right? The less likely candidate is going to sit in a longer because he took over a different seat. So funny. Yeah, well, I think it's fucked. You either got to they're going to pass HR1. They're going to. They have to.
No, I agree.
Georgia's fucking voter suppression laws is a good fucking reason why. Like, it's absurd. But I would sit. I mean, I know we're all pretending like, you know what? But you could just change. You know what? Call it reform the filibuster and get rid of it that way. I'm okay with that either. Just make it so that one person. You know, because that's what they're saying. Like, Joe Manchin's okay with reforming the filibuster because really the goal of the filibuster that he wants, even though he's a complete phony anyway, because you passed shit through reconciliation with no fucking Republican votes. So you're not going to tell me that you actually give a fuck about what the minority's saying because you don't. You don't. If you pass it through with not one vote, then you don't care what they're saying, or you do care what they're saying, but you won't let it influence the actual ultimate like decision made on the bill. So in that case, that's why you can do filibuster reform, which is you get one person to get to stand up there as long as he wants, as long as he or she wants, they get to stand up there and talk. One person, and then when they're done talking, it's over. That's the end of the filibuster. And 40 senators from the minority have to be sitting there on their asses the whole time. If one of them leaves, you end the filibuster. And if the one person that's allowed to talk for as long as they want stops talking, filibuster over. That's it. Done. Go ahead. Okay, let's see. Let's watch the filibuster. Then we'll all get to listen to the minority speak. They make their point. We listen to their debate, and then it's over. Then we move on with our lives. Let's do that then. I'm okay with that. Yeah. If you want the minorities' intake, right, which – Manchin, let's be real. If you want the minorities' intake, that's all you got on the reconciliation bills you pushed through. You got them to go. Mitt Romney came with a group of phony senators to come and offer a $600 billion scam package that didn't do anything. Right. And we listened. And we said that, thank you for your recommendation. And we didn't do it. Okay? And then we went with our $1.9 trillion thing that actually does something. So let's stop playing the ruse. You know what I mean? Let's stop playing the game. I'm over it. I know it's so phony. I'm sick of voter suppression already. Is anybody else sick of it, or are we just like fucking ourselves? Like we don't mind it.
I mean, it's not that no one minds. It's just the way it is.
It is the way it is, right? Because we don't own all the state legislators in all these fucking states. Yeah. So the only way to combat this is at the federal level. So the only way to make it not what it is this. Also, having these bipartisan like congressional redistricting groups is wild too. Yeah. Like think about that they're going to get 6 seats just from redrawing the lines. Partisan gerrymandering is insane. Nobody cares about that either. That's in the bill. Care. Yeah, well that's insane. So I would just be like, hey, you know what? Like we're gonna lose in 2022 when they redraw the lines. Like you guys want to do anything or no? Like no. I'm cool. MLB's pulling out, so we'll just ride their coattails. Whatever they do, like such phony bullshit. I'm so sick of Georgia. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's Georgia's, like I said, like states like that, they've been like that forever, and it'll always be that way. It's just unfortunate.
James, are you into Georgia or what?
Asleep. I mean,
James, you got to stay off mute. We got to go for hot takes.
I'm not muted. I'm formulating something to say. Georgia's like can be a cool place, but like instead of being cool, they're being weird and southern, you know, and being like fuck anybody.
Della, why are they so southern?
Because the white people in the South like to be in power. They don't like they want minorities to just shut up and be happy that they're allowed to even live there. That's how the mindset is of some of these people. So remember, a lot of these people. This is one thing a lot of people kind of need to remember. A lot of people who went to schools that were segregated as children are still alive, like Mitch McConnell, who are still alive as adults. They may claim to have been, oh, I'm reformed, like I don't believe that shit anymore, but that's probably not true. So you still have a lot of these people alive and running things, right? If you were born, if you were born pretty much before 1955, I don't know, actually by 1960, there's a good chance you had some semblance of your school in the South segregated, even after Brown v. Board, even after the civil rights, all these amendments were passed, right? Even the elimination of poll tax, all these different things, like people didn't give up segregation in the South until 1977, and even then, you still had Mississippi, which had it legalized until like 2008 or something like that. So it's like there are people who are still alive and well running these countries. So who raised that way. So yeah, so that's why people are like that, and of course it passes down. There are people who are Klan members who will never admit it, obviously running around. So it's just the way it is, unfortunately.
So we need this HR1, is what you're saying. We're pretty fucked at the state level.
I actually need a constitutional amendment more so than anything, but because the HR1 can be challenged in court very quickly, and it's going to the Supreme Court, which is Trump's Supreme Court.
But you need a lot to do a constitutional amendment.
That's correct. That's the problem. You need 38. You need 38 states.
So fuck that. So I have a better idea. One, we push it through. If the Supreme Court starts to fuck around with it, that's when we start adding judges, because that shit's out of control. That's when you pack the court.
Yeah, but you say that though. At the Supreme Court screws it up though. The only way you're going to reverse that is with a constitutional amendment, right? I mean, that's the only way you're.
After they combat it, right?
Yeah,
right.
that's so all you're doing is ex post facto, which is kind of cool, but like.
Well, maybe if you start to get a sense that they're gonna challenge all those things, which they're going to take them to the Supreme Court. Who knows if the Supreme Court's going to take up all that bullshit? But I don't really know how.
Oh, they will.
Depend. So some of them not.
They will take all of them. Trust me. Anything that, remember, these people.
But do you think the Supreme? Not that are they going to take it to the Supreme Court? Like, is the Supreme Court going to take all these up?
That's what I'm saying. They will take them up. They will take them all up. It's probably.
We'll have to pack the courts then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want to pack the courts, you better do it now.
Wow.
But I don't think
they go hand in hand.
They have to go hand in hand.
So then, what are we doing? Why is nobody talking about this?
I don't think people remember what I said at the beginning.
You think you're just ahead of the curve? Is it because you got your Texas plaque for best debater in all of Texas?
No, the GOP has been playing chess this entire time, and I've told y'all that.
I haven't heard anyone mention this fucking packing the courts is related to HR1.
Well, of course, because
one thing at a time.
Well, yeah, of course. The Democrats think that people think one thing at a time, which is true. But the GOP thinks, I don't care about the people. It's what about 2022 and 2024? What can we do to screw things up for the Democrats? Make sure that we kill their messaging. Make sure that we're one step ahead on redistricting, signing crazy ass abortion laws, like crazy voter suppression laws that will go to the Supreme Court, in which we wanted, right? That's the whole goal of this. Keep pushing garbage in, and hopefully one day the Supreme Court will pass it, similar to what happened in 2013 with the abolition of all the Civil Rights Act stuff, right? When that got thrown out. So this is the same thing that they want. They just keep going, and ultimately they'll win. That's what they're doing. So it's like.
So what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? This is bullshit then.
Yeah, I mean, you can
pack the court.
If you're gonna pack the court, you better start today or tomorrow. I guess is Monday.
Well, Joe Biden's sleepy. He's not doing it. He's not paying. He's falling down steps. Guy's out of his mind.
He's low stamina.
Why do we have to pretend that Joe Biden is like the answer to everything? This guy better start doing this shit now. I mean, he's doing a good job, but still, like, wake the fuck up. Get this shit done. Stop playing like fucking Sleepy Joe over here. Nobody knows what's going on in politics anyway, and nobody cares.
No, it should be. You should, like, I've always felt like politics should not be the first and foremost thing in America, like that you talk about, right? Because it's just how our government was set up. So it's okay that like you don't hear an update from them every.
Good. Yeah, I'm okay. I don't need to know anything.
But the thing is, they're like, and the press secretary, she says this all the time. these things really do take time. If he wanted to
no, not this again.
I'm telling you, if he really wanted to do a Trump thing and pass a tax cut thing overnight and be spiteful to the red states like Trump did with the blue states, he could do that. But he understands that it's not going to be helpful in the situation, right? Like,
yeah, but what things would he pass that are not helpful? There's nothing.
Well, no, I'm saying he could try to pass HR 1 tomorrow, right? But to whom is that?
No, but he can't. He can't.
No, I know. I'm saying like he could try to force things to start. Like he's like, look, I will try to force whatever I can. Right?
I'm okay with the time it takes to do those things. I'm just saying, like, this packing the courts, right? Like, where's the sense of urgency? Like, is behind the scenes the sense of urgency? Because we're people that pay attention, and I don't see anybody talking about it. And they talk about anything, even the smallest, stupidest thing they'll talk about, right? Like, where's the sense of urgency? Why don't you tie it on? Let's say, okay, we're going to get the whole country vaccinated. We're going to be open by July 4th. Woohoo! Also, we're going to pack the Supreme Court. And then nobody's going to pay attention to the second thing because it doesn't matter. Like, they don't care about the Supreme Court. Nobody cares about the Supreme Court. Leave it to the Republicans to try to make people care about the Supreme Court because that's an uphill battle.
But yeah, no, they should.
Good.
They should
exactly.
do everything.
That's what I'm saying. Let them fight that fight. Yeah, I'm saying they're going to do that no matter what. So let them do the fight. Let them do the fight to make you believe that you're going to, like, think about this. The messaging right now, if I said, okay, Democrats, here's the task. Get people to care about the Supreme Court because when their bill comes up to the Supreme Court, they need to make sure that the Supreme Court is packed with enough people that are going to support them. Look at that story. That is insane. Nobody cares about that at all. Nobody's going to pay attention to that long story. Let the Republicans do it. Okay, the Republicans going, well, so we're going to pass these voter suppression laws, and then when they pass a law to combat the voter suppression laws, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And if your Supreme Court isn't a conservative majority, they're going to let those voter suppression laws get beaten out, and you're going to be upset about it. Okay, good luck on that message. Yeah, Fox News can play it all day. They already are. So they're going to either that or Dr. Seuss. I mean, like, it doesn't matter what they do. I'm just saying, like, leave the messaging of something complicated to Republicans. Stop taking it on ourselves. I don't want to ever explain it. I want Joe Biden to just do it and then let the Republicans say how bad it is and how horrible it is because most people will forget about it in like 24 hours if you just do it and then move on. Hey, we're all vaccinated by July 4th. What do you think people care about? The fact that they're all going to be vaccinated by July 4th and they get wasted on July 4th in the summer at some fucking person's barbecue? Or are they going to be so concerned with the court packing that they're just going to have a horrible July 4th and they're going to be so sad and worrying about the courts?
Or you just pack the courts, you do your thing, pack the courts, do your thing, and then just be like Joe Biden, just fall up the stairs again.
Yeah,
just have him do something stupid.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, continually falling off stairs. Like, just like every time you need a distraction, just have him like trip up a little bit, like fall into a pool, have the dog bite another security guard. Like, there's plenty of things you can do to distract the public.
Yeah,
and just like really play up this Matt Gaetz thing.
That.
I mean, it's already doing a good job. You know, just be like Gaetz touches another teenager. Like, we don't know what the guy's doing. He's already creepy himself. Did you see that interview with him on Tucker Carlson? Like, I don't watch Fox, but it was so funny because it was just like, Fox is so like shitty. Like, they're so fake and shitty. They have to bring Matt Gaetz on, right? Because Matt Gaetz is like the fuel to their like QAnon bullshit Trump fire.
Yeah,
and he comes on and he like starts defending himself in the strangest way where you're kind of like confused on why he's defending something that he's not being accused of, and he's bringing up other things. And then the funniest thing, James, there's two funny things. One, he brings up like an accusation that was thrown against Tucker Carlson sometime in the past. So Tucker Carlson is being rebrought as some kind of like sexual assault that he was accused of. And he's like, oh, like that was from some mentally ill person in 10, 20 years ago. Like, I don't remember it. And it was like, whoa, what are you doing to this guy? So funny. Now he's defensive and on the boat. And then he talks about the teenager or somebody that they brought to a dinner. And he's like, I was there with her and you and your wife, to Tucker Carlson. And Tucker Carlson's like, I don't really remember that at all, or the context or anything. And I was just like, what is going on with Matt Gaetz? Maybe Matt Gaetz is playing chess too. Like, get Tucker Carlson involved in scandal and like make the story about how it happens to everyone and like what. And Chuck Cole's like, well, that was the weirdest. And I'm like, Chuck Cole, you're a piece of shit because you support guys like this, and he's trying to take you down, and suddenly you're upset. Like, why did I bring this guy in the air? He's a real piece of shit. It's like he's always been a piece of shit. It just now affects you negatively. Yeah. Oh well, now that he brought me up into his shit, I'm like, dude, this guy is under investigation for just transporting teenagers. And he's like, well, it was my girlfriend. Well, she was of age in Florida. What's the legal age? It's probably like 17, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe he was like maybe that was his girlfriend. Maybe he's gonna go down that route and just be like, she's my girlfriend now. Like Alabama, it's like 15. Like it's scary. Like it's like what would he get in trouble for? It's like does the controversy of Matt Gaetz, a 30-something-year-old man dating a 17-year-old, is that controversial, Della?
I mean, it should be when this guy is one of the one of the many in the long line of Republican hypocrites. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if we care about this, then like. If Matt Gaetz wants to get out of it from saying like I wasn't like doing sex trafficking, right? Then like that was your girlfriend then that was 17 that you paid for flights and hotel rooms that you were dating. She was legal age, yes, okay, but like is Matt Gaetz like what's going on with you? 17-year-olds, like, is everyone cool with that in this state? Like,
that's where we are now.
Florida, like, okay, that's a thing.
Florida's
now. Like, well, we don't
18
care about
years.
that. He can date. Oh, okay. So then Matt Gaetz did do he was trafficking minors. Okay, so there you go. It's not Florida is 18 years old. No way.
Yeah, maybe it changed recently, but it is 18.
After Matt Gaetz, there was a weird thing though.
You know what's fucked up?
And this might be fake news. Della, is this? Yeah. What's fucked up? I'll give you a fucked up thing too afterwards.
Maine, New Hampshire, Boston, Connecticut, and Rhode Island are 16 years for consent.
Wild. They need help.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll give you a fucked up thing. There was like a weird like sex trafficking law that went through that had like almost unanimous vote, but there was
voted
one
against
person
it.
that didn't vote for it, and it was Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz, yeah.
And I'm thinking like, I know I want to say like, okay, like just random, but like that's weird.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's like kind of incriminating.
Person not voting for this. That's like that's incriminating. I'm sorry, like that's too weird because the weirdest Republicans you're saying unanimously voted for that bill and you didn't. That's creepy. There's some weird fucking Republicans. Like they would find anything to make sure that they don't have more bills like going through that like affect their creepiness. And you're telling me that you, Matt Gaetz, were the lone guy that why? What did you? He's like the Northern Floridians in my district don't want this. I'm like, why? What on earth is going on with you, Matt Gaetz? Like, well, what is in this bill that affects you or anyone? How is it? What's the negative in this bill? That's scary to be the lone guy like that. It's so creepy because it's just weird. It's like if he said like, oh yeah, there's something in it, but why just him? And now this is coming out. I don't know. It's very strange. It's just like too weird.
Is that his
What's going on with Matt
was
Gaetz?
My constituents are into human trafficking, so
yeah.
So
they're like
I had to
it's
vote
something
against it.
they don't know. They don't want the government. They don't want the government like getting involved in their business. Something crazy. Some like nonsense. Something weird argument that Matt Gaetz. Yeah, in the sex trafficking business, we don't need the government getting involved. We don't really even have a problem because it's all fine. Just leave me be. Let me do what I'm doing, guys. That's what he should have said. He should have just broke down and been like, all right, I have an argument. I don't want to get more trouble. I know it's going to come out in a little bit. Newsmax needs to keep me on retainer.
On retainer, yeah.
He also announced like going over to Newsmax right before too, and you're just like, you're like a real schemer. Whatever you're up to is really sketchy, man.
So he probably knew the story was
We're not buying
drop. He knew the story.
No, he knew it was going to come out.
And then he was
he
like,
went on
right,
this whole rant about how his dad. Yeah, he went on this whole rant about his dad was like wired by FBI and that they're extorting him for $25 million. None of it was related to what he was being accused of, but just a separate thing of like this whole other scam, and they're like, and he just looks like the biggest like phony liar, like skis ball. Like I mean, just like, can a guy look more guilty? You know, it's like, and especially we just got that Cuomo stuff going down. That's gone now. That like was the end of the headlines. Cuomo made vaccinations available to everybody in New York, and they were like, "Yeah, we forgot about the stories. Like, we're done. We're on to Matt Gaetz now being creepy." Right? It's funny to think like, what did Matt Gaetz say during the whole Cuomo thing? I'm sure he was like riled up. No, it would have been funny if he was quiet. But that would have been wild. That would have been more. It would just be just like that bill, like another sketchy thing that Matt Gaetz is doing on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. Those are probably the biggest stories of the week. James, do you see anything else? Like those Matt Gaetz and the MLB pulling out for voter suppression. And this infrastructure bill being like introduced, but like they got to get the messaging right on that. That's too big of a bill. It's a $2 trillion bill, and I have no idea what's going on. And there's some good stuff in there, but I don't want to hear one damn thing about an 8-year plan to fucking fix infrastructure in this country. That is the dumbest shit ever, Della.
It takes look. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with infrastructure, bro. But let me tell you something. I live next to.
I'm the millennial introductory to infrastructure, which means I don't give a fuck. I don't have the attention span for it. I don't care.
Well, I don't know if let me tell you this. I live next to what is now the widest highway in North America. It's right. It's like 5 miles.
The widest?
Widest. WIDE. Widest.
WITEST?
No.
James, only white people on the highway next to Della.
That's not even how you spell it, Dan.
Almost.
WHITEST? Yeah, it is. Gotta be.
You didn't spell it with an H.
Yeah, you forgot the H.
First time.
But no, listen. That highway took 8.5 years to do. Okay, to go from like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then they got eminent domain.
Yeah, Buttigieg running the project.
Now, yeah, they did have Buttigieg, but that still takes years. So like, you need to be able to, and they have to be prepared to have up to 10 years to kind of get this stuff done. So like, they need to have an 8-year plan. You can't just say we're gonna put up a new bridge in 3 years. Like that's like
whoa. Don't get me confused. I'm okay with infrastructure being long term. I get it. It's real. But I'm saying like in terms of messaging, I don't want to hear about that shit. I don't want to hear about that shit. Don't tell me about it. Don't mention 8 years ever. Only mention things that are happening either tomorrow or like next week. Don't mention anything to me or within the year or with a job or something. Like, do not tell me. People don't want to hear about an 8-year infrastructure plan because you know what Trump's going to say? You know, like, oh, yeah, look at them. They're not doing anything for you. And you go, no, we have an 8-year infrastructure plan. Okay, thank you. Thank you. In 8 years, I'll send my regards in the mail to everybody that backed that infrastructure plan.
I have a
mention
rant.
that shit.
I have a rant. I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
But I have a rant. And it's partially about Cuomo. It's partially about infrastructure. The first thing is the Verrazano.
Matt Gaetz.
It's not about Matt Gaetz. No, we've already... we beat that horse dead.
We belabored the point.
Yeah, exactly. But Cuomo renaming the Verrazano Bridge after his father is such a fucking dick move.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But second off, going back to that as well, is if they're gonna build all this shit, are we gonna have to pay tolls like for fucking ever? Like the George Washington Bridge didn't pay for itself like fucking 30 fucking years ago. Like we're paying for this still. Like how the fuck is this working? It doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna do infrastructure, fucking tolls.
Tolls are different.
What?
No, tolls are not. Hold on, tolls are a little different.
Fuck the tolls.
The tolls is a joint thing between. So let me put it this way: if you try to enact a toll on a federal road or like a federally public highway, okay, that requires the government has to approve that. Okay, it's not like Cuomo can't just say, "Hey, we're doing a toll tomorrow." You need the transportation secretary to be on board with that. So are there going to be more tolled roads? I don't know. I mean, here in Texas, they build every new highway with a toll road in the middle of it, every single one of them. So I'm not going to be surprised if they put more tolls.
But this is bullshit, Della. No more tolls. I have a better idea.
But I'll pay the toll if it means I get through.
What do you think of this idea? Why don't we? This is actually one of the ideas of one of the guys that was running for mayor, like a libertarian candidate. He said sell the rights to the name of the bridge. Like fuck Mario Cuomo Bridge or fuck Verrazano Bridge. It should be called Verizon Bridge, and they get to put giant billboards all over the fucking bridge, and they pay for that advertising all fucking like year, and they can sign like big 10-year plans, and then they cover all of our fucking tolls, and they have to cover the fucking potholes and fucking bullshit on the bridge, all the maintenance, and you could sell them that on the cheap. Done. How about that idea? Fuck Mario Cuomo. They're not making any money off that fucking name on that stupid bridge. And you should just sell it to the fucking largest advertiser. Call it Amazon Bridge, and they just blast you with giant ads the whole time.
That if we could I mean, it's kind of how it works in the private equity world. Like private equity has has infrastructure funds, and that's kind of what they've been doing. Like KKR have been building bridges for the last 10 years. So, but they don't name them after KKR. They name them after other things that are not the same.
A horrible name.
Exactly.
Bad name.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be cool. The problem with that, though, of course, is that you now are becoming even more beholden to these private companies in which you don't want to be to begin with, right? Like,
what do you mean? I'm being beholden to them selling ad space. What's the difference?
But there's a big difference. If there's a dip in their revenue, who's repairing that bridge?
No, done. They lose their sponsorship. We come back in. We're already repairing the fucking bridge. What do you mean? Like, it's on us right now.
This isn't a baseball stadium. You're not gonna have it.
But you're telling me, Della, no, they should have to pay for the state to maintain it. Like, they pay whatever money. They come in and cover whatever money is being spent on it now from us. Whatever maintenance they're doing now is coming from our tax dollars, correct?
Correct.
And from the state budget.
That's
so
correct.
Why don't they just take that money, and instead of it coming from us, it comes from Amazon? And if Amazon gets fucked, you know where the money's going to come from?
No, Dan. No. This is stupid. Just tax the companies. Exactly.
Let's not get crazy, guys. You guys are out of control. You want to tax Amazon money? They don't pay money. That's for us to pay. You pay taxes. Amazon doesn't pay taxes. You guys are getting pretty progressive. You guys are out of control, actually. I'm not having these kind of crazy conversations.
Or maybe
we're talking about packing the courts, and now we're talking about taxing corporations.
Yeah, maybe just tax the corporations that use the roads that they need to get their goods to other places.
Oh, James.
Like FedEx and UPS should have like 97% of these roads named after them. All right,
you guys are. This is all fucked up. I don't believe any of this. I say we should cut the tax rate more and use more of our money from the middle and lower class to pay for the roads.
Oh my God.
We could.
I'm with you.
We could tax corporations, and we could name the north-south ones FedEx and the east-west ones UPS, and then but we got to tax them.
You got
all the highway routes can be Amazon. Who cares? Well,
I'm okay with taxing them, and then I'm okay with taxing the corporations, but like they seem to not have figured that out yet. You know what I mean? So like in the meantime, why don't we tax them and sell them the ad space? I don't give a fuck. What are we talking about? Why are they exclusive? Why don't we tax them and still not charge them for the ads on the bridges that they're fucking using anyway? Jack up the rates, give them like who the fuck? I have a question. Who the fuck pays for these fucking stadiums? You know, these fucking giant monstrosity stadiums.
Taxpayers does.
It's the taxpayers. It's the taxpayers. And then what do we do after we built them? Then we license it. Somebody pays for their rights to name the stadium after them. How much is that? How expensive is that, Della?
It's a lot of money. But the thing is, though, the maintenance, these licensing deals are smart. The maintenance is not allowed, like the money used for the naming rights is not allowed to be used for maintenance. This is one thing that that's.
So what do they use it for?
That it goes directly to the owner. It doesn't go to the city. It goes to the owner of the baseball team or the.
Well, the owner's got to be me. I own the city now, and I want the money for the bridge.
So how stadiums work? By the way, I'll just give me 15 seconds to explain, or 30 seconds.
How do you know how the stadiums work?
Because stadium financing was something I had to study when I was at KKR. So like one of the things when someone has a stadium and they build it, it's usually a partnership between the city and the county and the owner. Usually, the city county puts in between 60 and 80%, and the owner puts in the other 20%. All right. Gotcha. So, but the maintenance though is these agreements put the maintenance on the city county, okay, and the owner pays nothing to maintain it, only to upgrade it. This guy. So any upgrades have to be done by the owner. I hate him. And any maintenance has to be done by the city. This is why you pay for these stadiums.
Boo! Boo!
I am just trying to explain how stadium finance works.
James, did you like that or not?
I mean, I'm just
What about
looking
this?
at you, pointing. Yeah.
You
Okay.
like that?
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Whoa, stadium financing. Whoa.
All right.
Hey, give me a little more. Whoa, it's stadium financing.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Well,
all I'm saying is we're
What about
just
bridge
getting ripped
financing?
off.
What about bridge financing? How does that
Yeah,
work?
what about bridge financing? What do you know about that?
it depends on what kind of bridge it is. If it's on federal
Oh my
land,
God! Don't tell me you know about bridge financing.
No, I say it depends on who's financing.
Whoa, a bridge financing. Whoa,
God.
that's what I think about your bridge finance.
I hate this guy.
Oh God. All right. Anyway, that was exciting. That was exciting stuff, Della. Thanks for that bridge financing bullshit. I'm okay with all of it. I don't look, but you know what's interesting, James? You bring up this Mario Cuomo bridge naming. I heard that for like the smallest amount of time. That story. It must have gone away so quickly, and yet it's so like ridiculous.
I didn't even hear about it when I lived there. When I lived there, I didn't even hear about it. I was driving over the bridge, and I'm like, "What the fuck? This used to be the Verrazano, and now it's the Cuomo Bridge." He named it after himself, and then come to find out he named it after his father. Supposedly, it's really just a political advertisement.
So wild.
It's fucked up. But you know what?
Right, exactly. A political advertisement, and you know what we don't get? The fucking real advertisements. I'd rather get blasted with Verizon and not pay a toll than actually pay a toll. Amazon can blast me in the brain. I can just send a wire right to my brain and be like, you don't have to pay the toll, though. I'd be like, done.
What is this, Black Mirror? Is that what you want?
I'm okay with certain things because they're blasting me anyway. You know what I mean? Amazon's blasting me every day. I might as well get a free toll out of it. Like, stop. What if they said if you own a Prime membership, you don't have to pay the fucking toll, which everybody does anyway? Let's get crazy.
Then they would just
Stella.
keep
Let's get
jacking up
crazy.
the Prime memberships.
The
They would just
Prime
keep
rates, yeah.
increasing them.
Prime. I mean, Prime hasn't gone up in a while, no?
It went up 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
I'm still
That's
paying
awesome.
it. Paying it up.
Yeah,
the
I
ass.
And you
I just
didn't
paid
even
mine
know
on
about it.
Monday, and I was like, it's $139.
I don't give a how much? 120? Oh, for the year, yeah.
$130.
Yeah. It's for the year. Yeah, but you get like 50 people on the Prime account. I don't give a shit.
It's only me. I don't share with anybody.
You need help. You got to get some friends. Maybe some
I have
fake
friends.
family
I
members.
just don't trust them
You don't trust them to do what?
to keep up the membership.
What do you mean? You put them on your like family account as like your wife or something? I don't know. Amazon like lets you do whatever the hell
I
you
need
want.
people to pay me. I don't need to be adding people to this fucking profile. And
You
be
gotta
paying me.
get people straight onto the. What do you need to get paid for? I'm confused.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
if this is
paying it anyway.
$130 a year. I'm paying it anyway. I don't care if I have fake friends. I need paying friends. That's what I need.
So you
Which
just
is not the
charge
same.
them straight off the bat, and then you pay. What do you got? What do they got for you? Or just let them do.
Charge
Get, like,
them.
Hulu.
Charge them a $60 fee, lifetime Amazon account
Yeah.
fee.
Yeah, lifetime Amazon account. Well, you got a bunch of things. You got Spotify, you got Netflix, you got Amazon, you got
Yeah, but
Disney
see, I
Plus,
don't.
you
So
got
I don't have.
Hulu.
I don't
What
pay
if-
for any of those things. So
What if you drive
Who's
over the
paying for them?
Netflix
I don't
bridge
use any of
and then you need a Netflix account, but you just have Amazon or Hulu? Can you use somebody
Well, then
else's
you're a
account to
fucking
get over
loser.
the
Have fun
bridge?
paying that toll, loser.
Sounds like your car.
Yeah.
Sounds like your car is going to be disabled halfway.
Yeah, sounds like you go to jail for 10 to life.
God.
All right, boys, I'm done for the night. I'm calling it quits. I think I've talked enough about the problems in society these days, and I think you two need to catch up. So
Yeah, and
I'll
I've-
give you time to process.
And I've heard
Yes.
enough, so thanks.